This is simple. This is called a megaphone pattern. You have a megaphone pattern on a resistance. Hey everybody, hope you had a great trading day. Today was a fun one to say the least. So, had some earnings come out this morning on Microsoft. I want to cover NVIDIA and I really want to cover the indexes and what's going on out there. But we should probably talk about this. We had a really nice bounce off of Microsoft. I frankly was very surprised by the bounce. The earnings that they came out with, a lot of it doesn't really make sense what they're saying that they're losing $1 billion just because of the exchange rate. They need to give more details on what's actually going on there. Now, what you might see is you might see some people come out and put some upgrades on some of these names tomorrow because the way they're starting to move and start talking about, quote, things aren't going to be as bad as we thought they are. And that can lead to institutions, investment banks wanting to get ahead of themselves. And the way some of these are moving and some of the earnings tonight, like Lulu and Crowd, which we're about to go over, they're definitely leaning that way. But this was really shocking to me, this kind of move. And it wasn't something I was very interested in playing on the long side. By the time it even set up, it's not something I want to do. So I stayed out of the way of it, quite frankly. You can be a dip buyer. I get it. Let me see how I finish the week on that bar, and then maybe I'll go back and take a look at it. I'm still in a downtrend. And I'm not so sure that I want to be stuck in this as far as tech. I think there's much better tech names. NVIDIA, for example, if you see what's going on right here, okay, we're just beginning. This is on the weekly, and we'll do weeklies at the end. But this could still be in a downtrend on the weekly and get to 255. So that's what you have to understand, whether you call it a bull market or bear market, it doesn't really matter. What you need to focus on is, are you in a bullish environment? Are you in a bearish environment? And then based upon that, act accordingly. Okay, there are cyclical and secular markets as well on top of that. If you just focus on that, saying I'm not going to do this until X, you're going to kind of go batty and you're going to miss a lot of action. 2020 was the anomaly, not the norm. Understand that. So as soon as you get that, life gets a lot easier. But you can see here the higher high, the undercut. This is perfect. This is exactly what you want to see. Now, if you overlay some indicators, like the RSI, you're back above 50 for the first time since you broke down above 50. And I think that we're pretty much going to pin ourselves to this 208. We could see that tomorrow. You're not going to want to see investors miss out on a move after they just watched this happen and just got crushed for months. You're not going to want to see investors sit out. And as I showed on Saturday's video, we are grossly oversold. And we are grossly underinvested. And we went over the McClellan oscillator last night, which I won't bore you again with today. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, click all notifications, because what we go over is really timely. But I really think that you can get up to this 208 level. And I think it could happen as soon as tomorrow. I mean, it's 10 points, 12 points, it's nothing. AMD's one we've been talking about. I actually walked through the entire trade last night. Let's get this VWAP off. So we're through the first trend line, heading to the major trend line, which would take us to about 115, 116. I don't see any reason to do anything here except sit with it. If you're in it, if you're not in it, just stay out of the way until it kind of pulls back. You're not in a runaway bull market, so you don't really want to chase your names here. You want them to come to you. You want them to set up, give you a quantifiable risk entry, and then go from there. Case in point, when we traded Tesla today, let me just throw this in so you can see this a little clearer with the pre and the post. And then I'm going to take the pre and the post out again. But what we have here is with this trend line, when we got to that trend line, we had a decision to make. We were either going to flip this higher high in the trend line or not. So knowing where our level was, it allowed us to go in here. And I don't need the bottom. I just want to make the majority of the move, or make the move that makes the most sense. Let me rephrase that. I want to be in the trade where I can quantify my risk. And by quantifying my risk, I can then determine what my risk reward is going to be. So I'll give you an example. So here we are, we break out, boom. Here's your 15-minute orb. Okay, the RSI is over. We can see that. Let's get rid of this for a moment. All the indicators. Pops up. What do we have here? We have a high, tight flag. Here's your flagpole. As soon as we popped over that, it was risk on. So this is one we did in the trading room, bought this here, let it trade itself up, and then we know where our levels are, right? We know that this is resistance. How do we know that's resistance? Well, that takes us right to 787, right? Then you come here and just kind of look, we're 787, top of the doji. So by drilling through it daily and then dropping that to a 15-minute, it lets me know where I'm going to have an issue. So I have an issue that pops up here. As soon as it started break, we closed the calls. I mean, it was a nice trade. It was 100% in like an hour. And then we broke down. Now you have 2 wicks right here, so you kind of have that devil head pattern. And you kind of want to stay away from those. Broke, and then it just kind of trickled down. But trade's probably not over long term, right? This thing of, we're in bull markets, bear markets, so we can bear market rally for 20%. The people that are saying that stuff, they're much smarter than me. I've been doing this over 20 years. I can't tell you when the markets are going to turn. I can only tell you when the sentiment is going to change. I can only tell you if we are oversold, overbought, if funds are underinvested or overinvested. And frankly, that's all I need to know. We are completely underinvested right now for funds, and we are grossly oversold. A matter of fact, to segue into this, which is going to take me into Lulu, understand that something like the consumer discretionary sector, I was reading a story last night, 3% of all stocks that are in the consumer discretionary space, 3% are above the 200-day moving average. That is an insane reading. So by oversold, it's out there. If you look at IBB, 25% of the names are trading less than cash value. These are extreme readings that you're just not going to see. They're once in a lifetime readings that if you have the patience and you're looking at a year or two, you're going to do fine. Let me walk you through this. This was something that we did at 24.12, something around there. I have to go back and take a look. Maybe it was when it flipped 2,400, but we bought the leaps on this. And why did I buy leaps? Because if you start thinking more and get rid of the noise, you understand that within the next 2 to 3 months, we're going to be through the summer. Once we're through the summer, we're going to be talking about the Christmas season. Where do people buy everything for Christmas, right? For that holiday season, they're going to go here. So I think that this could absolutely trade back to 33 by Christmas time. So I want to get rid of the noise. So we bought leaps on this move. You can see the W right here. But these types of moves, they're grossly, grossly overdone. And that brings me to Lulu. Take a look at how Lulu set up here. Came out with earnings and revenue tonight. They were in line, but they raised guidance, but margins were light. Nobody cares. Stock's up $5. Okay, so tomorrow all we're going to do is just watch how we act at these wicks, and then we're going to make a decision from there, right? You can already see how we're rejecting that 315, and we rejected that after hours. And I'll just give you the very simple guideline that I like to use is I just let everyone settle out in the first 15 minutes because all the HFTs and algos settle out in the first 15 minutes. So far, the stock has not made a decision. So that's really what we're focused on, names like that. Crowd, decent numbers, they're okay. Stock trades up, trades right back down, can't get anywhere. So let's just take a look at that. Isn't that interesting? There's that high, 178.89. What couldn't we stay above? 178.89. Kind of tells you what level you need to watch tomorrow. Now, let's just talk about the bigger picture on what's going on out there. Okay, in regards to energy drops. You should still, in my opinion, be a buyer of it. Okay, that's all we've been doing. We've been doing quite well with that. Names like this are only going to get stronger as time goes on. These trusts, they're only going to keep throwing off more and more money. That's all they're going to do. This was in the newsletter. There's a free version of the newsletter below. But look for these trusts, especially with the UK tax structure that just changed for windfall tax. They're going to divert their profits to trusts wherever they can. And you're going to benefit from that by getting the dividends from it. This is going to pay $1.20. I'm going to have made $3 in dividends in the past 3 quarters, roughly off this name, while it's tripled. It's not a bad place to be. You might want to look at these kinds of names. So if we focus on what's going on out there, and the reason I'm giving examples of what I do, not only in the trading room, but live trades, is because of the comments. So please comment. I find it very helpful. It's very simple. Okay, here you are, right on a resistance line. I don't even need moving averages. Okay, this is simple. This is called a megaphone pattern. You have a megaphone pattern on a resistance. You have a bullish engulfing over resistance. Okay, this is exactly what you wanted to see. That would lead me to believe that names like NVIDIA could absolutely go to that 208 level that I'm talking about tomorrow, right? So, I mean, candidly, I specifically put a trade on today for tomorrow. At the end of today, because I do believe that that's going to happen. Now, what is leading all this? Well, let's just take a look at that. Jobless claims came out, bond market went flat, stocks went up. That's exactly what we want to see. That's the exact kind of move that we want to see. And if we take a look at why would we start looking at options again? Well, we're going to start looking at options again because of the VIX. Okay. Now the VIX is under 25 for the first time in how long? Well, we had one little close here, but we haven't hit this level since April. So that lets me know that it's safer and implied volatility is contracting, which allows me to put more option trades on. Also, the rally gave us a chance to put on some new short positions, but we can go over that this weekend. So that's all I have. I hope you found this helpful. If you want exact entries and exits, please click this link. It'll give you an example of the trading room and a preview of what we actually do in the trading room all day long, as well as the newsletters and education. Enrollment's open for this week, and then I'm going to shut it down because we close it just to make sure that everybody gets up to speed. Last time I opened it was November, so it'll be open for roughly about a week. Also, make sure you get the newsletter, so even if you don't do that, you can follow along with what we're going on here. The goal is not only to inform on what you should be looking at the next day, but to educate. So I hope you found this helpful. Everybody have a great night. Please like and share this, and trade to win tomorrow.